Let's talk democracy and freedom. So here in Australia, we are known as a free country, a free society. We're meant to we're meant to feel really, really lucky with how free we are in this country and the rights we've got, yada, yada, yada. So, I want to contest that view, and in fact, I know it's not correct. I know we don't live in a free society. There's quite a few things that are playing out here in Australia, which just back up what I'm saying. So one is the social agenda here in Australia. Presently, we've got the social progression movement at fever pitch. So everything about social progression is an erosion of your freedom. It's an erosion away from your journey with God, and it erodes everything that's creation and God. So you've got any of these social progression, what's the word, concepts, pieces of work that they try and introduce, any one of them, you have to accept it. They put it in gradually so the masses can have time to understand what's going on. But if you don't agree with it, you're then isolated in society. You're called misogynist. You're called a bigot. You're called a racist. And all these other words. Bigot is the one that really gets to me. I love the word bigot because the bigot by its very definition means that you're intolerant of other people's views, and people that call other people bigots are showing bigotry themselves. So it's just it's a catch-22 word. I feel at times that it can be used. But it's not a word that I would ever use, and it's just that they just contradict themselves, which the left do all the time. And that's what I wanted to talk about in this video as well, is the left-right paradigm, how people say it's not true, and I believe it is both true and not true. It's true because it manifests in the street. You've got people in the street and they have debates, who's best, Liberal, Labor, the Greens, who's got the best policies, and it all comes back to there's two things in politics. There's social politics, and there's monetary politics. Now, money is just a concept. It's a fake concept invented by Israel so they can enslave us. It come about the 1600s. This money, it happened about the same time as that. I think his name was Weishaupt or something. That creature who invented Freemasonry. Freemasonry is just an extension of the Roman Empire, which is an extension of the Babylonian Empire, which are there to enslave us. Not one politician you see gets up there and they all talk about God, but they don't talk about Jesus. And as we know, on this earth, there's several gods. The Israelites are testimony to that. They'd worship their cows because they wouldn't believe in God. They still do it. They don't believe in God because they don't believe in Jesus. And it's happening all the time with politicians. Our current Prime Minister says he's a follower of God, and he goes to Hillsong Church. He's certainly not a follower of Christ, because to get to these positions in this world, I think it's from police sergeant up. It could be a little bit higher, I don't know. But to get into any of these positions of authority in Australia, you need to be either a Freemason or part of these secret societies, because that's all they're doing is enslaving us. So all this policy that they're talking about money, it's just there to enslave us, because people now are of the view, and it's quite clear the Bible's correct. It's very, very clear to me that God is real, and this is why we're here, and there's a point to all our lives. One of the main reasons why I've come to this decision, or why I've come to this conclusion, is because of the lengths they're going to suppress God, and the lengths they're going to suppress the truth. So the people from the moment they're born into truth. All they know is truth, just like Adam and Eve. It could be that's what that story could be an extension of. It could be an extension of us, and when we're born, who knows? But when we're born into truth. I remember as a kid, I thought the earth was flat. Just for instance, until I got into a classroom and I was told it was different. I was always told at church, I was told at home that God created me, that God created all man, and then I go to school and I'm told that they crawled out of the sea. So all of these politicians, all of these people who run this free society, they push evolution, they push the Big Bang, they push that vaccines are good. They push that you have to make money to make a living and to be anything in society. They push gratification of the flesh. They push what's good for now. That sugar hit of now, and they push this left-right paradigm, which is fake. But it is real because it manifests on the street, and it manifests in the way that they distribute out the lies. So everybody thinks that you're born, and the reason why you're born is to I don't know. When I was born, my whole reason was to get a job, pay taxes, get a house, be a good citizen, have a family. Now these days, that's a lot different. I don't know if they're being raised now to have a family. I know schools are not saying that because schools are pushing the gay agenda, the trans agenda. And if somebody walks into a school saying they're a follower of Christ, they're mocked, they're belittled, and they're in the background. So you can't go to school. I remember when I was in school and they started teaching evolution, I just wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it, and it caused quite the ruckus. They did not know what to do with me. I ended up having to come home and talk to mum and dad about it. I'm not sure how it was resolved in the end, but I don't remember ever learning that shit, which is a good thing. So people are raised to think that they just have to pay taxes and then they die, but that's not what life is. Life is about your journey with God. And I know that just sounds like a generic throwaway type of line that somebody might say, but it's true, because the more you get into it, the more he reveals himself and the more he reveals his purpose to you. I think anybody that's known me for any length of time will be seeing the change in me right now, and will be seeing that I am being true to God's purpose. So today, most people will be going out and they'll be leaving their loved ones. They'll be going to work. They'll be going to work in a job that they have no passion for, that they have no reason to go there apart from getting money. They would never do it in 1,000 years if it wasn't for money. Most of your job's making you miserable. You've got no idea why you have to do it, where the end will be. They keep putting the retirement age up just so you can pay more tax and keep you from God. And your journey with God while you do that. And then they invent things like you must own your house. They create the great American dream. They've always called it the great Australian dream as well, to buy a house and to live in a house. And for what? You buy a house. I see my parents own their house and they never stop paying out shit. They keep paying rates. They keep paying for water. They keep paying for everything. If you own that house, you own that house. But no, you still have to pay out all these taxes and you never, ever, ever escape it. So you don't live in a democracy at all. You're told what to do. You're told what to think, even though you might be cutting edge and you might have your own thoughts. You don't, because you're told by what the man on the TV says. That's what dictates you. Pick up your Bible. I just did a video about the globe, where I got a little bit willing in it, which is fine because I've had it with that issue. But that's just one issue. One issue is okay. Well, two issues. Just read Genesis 1 through 10, and you tell me the Earth's a globe. Okay, and then you go ahead and read Genesis 2 and 3, and you tell me the people crawled from the sea. But that's what they're teaching you at school. That's what you think. The reason why you think it is because you were told, and you heard it from the man on the TV, and it's not true. So you're not free. You're not free. You're in prison. Your thoughts are prisoned. You're imprisoned. And the more you say that you're not, and the more you defend this lie, this democracy lie, the further you're getting from Christ, and the more you're just fueling their lies.